Seneca said, we suffer more in our imaginations than we do in reality. And by that, of course, Seneca, the philosopher, referred to the much valuable energy we dedicate to regrets of the past and worries of the future, all in futility. That's the suffering he was talking about, the suffering of our imaginations. It's the very same message echoed by all the so-called self-help gurus of our time when they tell you you ought to focus on the present because focus on being in the past or in the future doesn't help a thing. We suffer more in our imaginations than we do in reality. It is very normal for us humans to live in the past, think of the mistakes of the past, regurgitate the pains of the past, and relieve the pains of the past. Even though we can do absolutely nothing about it, we cannot change that. The past is gone. We cannot do anything about it. Yet we suffer perpetually from these past pains, from these long gone events. In like manner, we dedicate so much of our time living in a future that doesn't exist yet and that may never exist. We spend so much time worrying about, being anxious of, and being fearful of a future that doesn't exist and that may never exist. Because, fun fact, 99% of the things we worry about never really come to pass. Never. And so, we suffer. Truly we do. We suffer. Self-imposed suffering for the most part. But you see, the point I want to make in this video is this. I do think Seneca was only half right, because it is now my opinion that it's not just suffering, it's living. We don't just suffer in our minds, in our imaginations, in our heads, more than we do in reality. It's not just about the suffering, it's also about the pleasures of life. The best experiences of our lives truly do happen more in our imaginations than they do in reality. I'd bet that the best relationships you've had in this life have been in your imaginations than in reality. Think of that one person you had a crush on and went quite a distance with, all in your imagination, without them even ever knowing, for so many years. Think of the great intimate moments that only ever existed in your head, in your mind, in your imagination. Think of all the places you've traveled to, born in a little county in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or in Dakar, Senegal, or in Seoul, Korea, or in whatever, and you've lived your whole life in these places, but in your mind, you've traveled the world. Think of all the wonderful plans you've had for humanity since you were little. Think of all the great gestures you meant to do or actually did for humankind, to your fellow man, except that you only did them in your imagination. The best foods, the best vacations, the best sexcapades, the best friendships, the best relationships, the best adventures actually happened only in your imagination. And so, I think it'd be fair to say we don't just suffer more in our imaginations, but we do live more in our imaginations than we do in reality. But hold on just a moment. Hold on, please. What is reality? Aren't our imaginations a part of our reality?